Happy Friday to you. Welcome to another episode of the John McEntyre Show Live. I'm John McEntyre, and you see here at the desk with me is Andrea McEntyre, and we are going to do some updates about Medicare today, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
All right. So you know the routine. We're going to share some wallet wins. Um, then we'll get into this and get this one over with because it is hot. And just knowing that it's hot makes me want to get things over with. So, all right. So we're going to get into the actual wallet wins here. So the first wallet win is I sold my house in New York and I'm moving back to my small hometown in South Carolina, closer to family. And I'm glad to be slowing down in retirement. That happens a lot. No, that is happening a lot. There's a lot of people, and it's not just from up north, from New York. These people are moving up from Florida and everywhere. You know, this the mild seasons that we have. You know, most of the time the only complaint they have is like the hot summer. And they were like, okay, well it does get hot here.
Yeah.
And they haven't lied yet about that one. So, but the winters are mild, you know, compared to where they've been and everything like that. So that is, I guess I know that is because moving from New York to South Carolina to a small town in South Carolina is also saving a lot of money.
It's also a culture shock.
Yeah. Well, they say they're from the hometown. So
Mhm.
they're moving back to their hometown close to family. So quite sure they probably visit. And probably that last visit was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to move back and save some money here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So wallet win number two, a local business is paying for the high school football team's equipment, so I don't have to buy for two players.
That's a win.
Yeah, that's a serious win. That's a season win. That parent won for the season. No, it doesn't matter how the school does, how the team does. She won. He or she won, whatever. Um, because that triggers something about the about actually the budget, September budget,
Mhm.
going into school. We talked about school supplies and everything, athletic supplies, sports supplies. That's what can really strain a budget. All of the equipment, the traveling, you
The
know,
food.
the food. Yeah, most definitely. So
Mhm.
yes, that is a big win. I mean, two high school football players. So that's what the cleats, and most of the time they want two pair of cleats. I know when I played football, we had a home pair and an away pair because they were different colors, matched,
Mhm.
you know, all this. And today they have to have all of the stuff. I mean, it's like buying a tailored suit now. Like, my goodness, that would have been a serious cost back in the day. You know, we just had a couple of pads and we were good. Now they have to have sunglasses, they have to have the necklaces, and they have to have everything, all of the accessories.
So it sounds like instead of you having an athlete, you also have an influencer too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you need to get a meal deal or two if you want to roll like that. All right. So wallet win number three, I received my letter that my student loan was forgiven, and I'm taking that payment and applying to other debt. Yeah, that is a beautiful letter to receive in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we felt that one actually uh, um, here when you
Mm-hmm.
had had a student loan forgiven. Um, I thought it was a hoax.
Yes. So no matter what balance you have, uh, any type of help or assistance is always greatly appreciated.
Oh
So
yeah,
yes.
most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so three big wallet wins there: some relocation, paying for school equipment, sports equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and student loan forgiven. So yeah. All right, so we were going to discuss, today is Friday, Medicare Friday, where we cover Medicare, um, and the way we're getting questions and people talking to us may have to end up doing more than one day, because just so many people talking about it. And it's a very hot topic because it is healthcare for retirees, and
Mm-hmm.
so it will always be a hot topic.
Right. And this time of year, you're seeing more. A lot of people are seeing a lot of commercials. We talked about the increase in the amount of mail. So there's mail that's coming from your current healthcare provider who may be providing your plan or supplemental plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're also getting information because it's Medicare Advantage,
Mm-hmm.
annual enrollment. And we talked about last week that there would be, in the month of September, most of the plans, if you're in a Medicare Advantage plan, you're going to be receiving what's called an annual notice of change.
Yep.
And if you're in any other type of insurance, those annual notice of change, or you'll see you're about to go into enrollment period and they're just letting you know what new changes are going to happen with your insurance. So remember what we said. Don't open all mail that you receive over the trash can. Make sure you pull aside any type of letters or information from your current provider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Um, so, as far as these changes, where did we start? What changes have been made?
Well, as we talked about the importance of understanding retirement,
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest expense for everybody, but especially during a retirement, is healthcare.
Yeah.
And so, with the increased number of individuals who are going into Medicare every single year,
Mm-hmm.
well, not just year, every single day,
Right.
and then also with those who have already been within the Medicare system,
Mm-hmm.
there's been a lot of questions, complaints, nice to have requests. And so the CMS has been taking all of that information into consideration. So from doctors and from beneficiaries. And so some of the key changes, I think people will really appreciate us covering those.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the first one that we should mention that's been affecting everybody, but especially those who are entering those senior years, that's been related to mental health, behavioral health. So those type of changes to make sure that your providers, whether it be with your overall health insurance or your Medicare
Mm-hmm.
and Medicare Advantage,
Mm-hmm.
they're now requiring that more plans add additional benefits because they're not guaranteed for everybody. So in
Right. Yeah.
2025, that's going to be one of the major keys.
Wow. And that's so puzzling to me because mental health has been a hot topic, and especially for the aging, our
Yes.
seniors and boomers. It's been like extremely been saying how important it is, well, for everyone, but especially, check in on your neighbors. If you know a senior that's close by, make sure you're talking to them, your parent or whatever. And the actual healthcare that covers that demographic hadn't even responded. That was very puzzling to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we've had it in our insurance. I mean, I really don't remember. You said it was there. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I'm surprised that hasn't actually been in like the Medicare plans.
Well, the part that's really surprising to a lot of people is most people only think about the chronic situations.
Right.
So if you have diagnosed behavioral and mental health concerns, whether it is diagnosed schizophrenia, bipolar, those are situations that have always been understood and in some cases are considered disabilities. When it comes to
Mm-hmm.
as you are just maturing in life, there'll be situations that happen. And so, what brought it to the forefront was during the pandemic,
Right.
and
Right.
more people they had to change their normal way of interacting with others. Many
Mm-hmm.
people that used to be more active became, almost like shut-ins, and so more people kept. It sounded like a corny commercial, but people were saying we're going outside. Well, those were forms of making sure people were interacting with others, making sure you're getting plenty of fresh air and sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, many people during that time became afraid to interact. And so conditions for just normal people who started withdrawing, that came on the radar. And especially with caregivers and seniors. So Medicare slowly begin to get questions about, I want counseling, whether it's marriage counseling, individual counseling, and many people didn't know that it was a part of their plan. And then depending on the type of insurance that you have, that there can be limitations on what you're able to receive. So the great news is 2025, they've expanded those benefits.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that is good for individual, uh, married couples, and family counseling. So that is good. And hopefully, um, we'll keep reminding our beneficiaries to remember the services that they do have, because most of the time when they're going, especially on the Medicare Advantage side, they're going for those perks like the vision, the hearing, those types, dental. They're looking for that, not and they overlook these other uh, services, great services that are provided to them, and they just don't know. So,
I think, well, Joan, before we move on,
hmm
that's a good reminder for the family and caregivers
hmm
to think about those services for the beneficiaries, but also think about those services for themselves. It's okay to say you're not okay.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, so there are benefits, right? They've been there. So I guess this is actually to really make it louder, to
Yes.
actually just make everything louder so people will really pay attention to it. Okay, so what is another change that has been made?
Well, you mentioned just a moment ago about the perks
hmm
and the benefits. So CMS is reminding everyone of their responsibility to make sure that it's not just a perk or a benefit that is promoted when someone is signing up for, let's say, for instance, a Medicare Advantage plan.
hmm
That they be reminded of these benefits, not just when they sign up, but to remind them throughout the course of the year. So if they haven't used their silver sneaker or their silver fit, their gym memberships,
hmm
vision and dental, those additional benefits that some are not available in some health plans,
hmm
but are in, for example, Medicare Advantage plan, they're wanting to make sure that they're not just promoted when you sign up, but that reminders are sent, because everybody is not diligent. They don't sit and read, their Medicare and You book.
Right,
They
that's
don't
right.
sit and read their benefits booklet. So if they're not sitting around and reading that as regular
Excuse
reading,
me.
the reminder's helpful.
Yeah, that's right. It is good to do a reminder, a quick reminder call. When we're talking to people, especially, well, everyone, like just a quick tip. Have you looked at this? You should have received this. Have you looked at it? Um, no, but I'm going to now. Okay, good. So sometimes people just, I mean, I need that myself. I've always needed that, like a quick trigger. I mean, because it's just so much going on. You can't hold it all at the front of your mind, trying to think about all of that stuff. So it's good to know that people are going to be reminded about certain things. And, using me as an example, I was notorious. Something came in my name. Um, if it looked like junk mail, I treated it like junk mail. And then you was telling me one day about a perk that we had, a benefit that we had, and I was like, well, I don't remember that. You said, well, it came in the mail. I received mine. You should have received it. And I was like, oh yeah, that I think the dog ate it. Well, we don't have a dog. Yeah, it was the neighbor's dog. He snuck over and ate the stuff. So I'm guilty.
We all are.
Yeah, we
We
all
all are.
are. So
Mhm.
it's good to know, and that will help us to stay on top of making sure that we keep our clients, reminded of those types of things. It's just another thing to mention. Hey, have you checked this out? Are you using it? Because
Yes.
that's one of the main reasons why you wanted this particular plan, or whatever. So are you actually using it? Um, I had to talk to my dad about that one. He
Mhm.
wanted the silver sneakers because he's older, he's in his 80s now, um, and he basically said, all of my fishing buddies and all of my friends and stuff, business partners, they're all gone. I'm like the last one, so I have to build a new circle of friends and everything. And I'm saying, okay, well, you have silver sneakers. Why don't you go to the Y? You have a membership at the Y. They hang out at the Y. They get there early. Oh yeah, that is right.
Hey,
So and he was like, oh yeah, I do need to get on top of that. I forgot about that. I was like, right. So we all do it. We all do it.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
all,
So the good thing is it'll be a reminder. So it'll likely, depending on how you have your communications. So it could be an email, and it may also be a call or outreach from your agent or broker, just reminding you, hey, remember you've got those benefits, and that'll come
mhm.
kind of middle of the year is what's being encouraged.
All right, very good. All right, so what's are there any more?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, one that I find that's very important. I was working with a client recently, and she currently has a supplement plan or a Medigap type
Okay.
plan,
Mm-hmm.
and so her sister, she has a lot of health concerns, and so
Excuse me.
this is helpful for her because she has regular visits that she has to go to the doctor. And so, if there's something that's needed, her doctor can make that recommendation, and she has the original Medicare and in her Medigap. So, her process that she goes through is a little bit different than her sister. So her sister is in great health. She's
Mm-hmm.
active.
Mm-hmm.
She only takes vitamins. Doesn't
Okay,
take
so
any
no
kind
medications. Okay,
no
yeah, she is
medications
healthy. She's
whatsoever,
very healthy then.
and
Yeah.
she's just really active, and you know said, I feel so much younger than my age. So she was asking my client, well, tell me about your plan. And she said, well, my plan is for me because I have health problems, but because you don't have health problems, you may want to look at a different type of plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I set up time with her, and based on the information that she shared, she needed a different plan from her sister, and she decided to go with a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
And the Medicare Advantage plan better fit her needs, but her sister was concerned if she got ill or had to have surgery or something like that, is there anything special she should know? And so I gave that story because one of the changes that is made, that Medicare CMS put in place across all Medicare, is making sure that for those who have the insurance, that have to have pre-authorizations for any
Okay.
type of non-medical.
Okay.
uh,
Like PPOs and HMOs in the Advantage plan. Yeah.
yes. So the sister is going on a Medicare Advantage
Right.
plan, and she's in great health, hasn't had any type of surgeries or any medications or that. So she chose this plan. But the one area that we wanted to make sure she understood was that if something did come up, she would have to go through the pre-authorization process.
Right.
And the great news is CMS across all Medicare, the whole system, has really stressed the importance of all insurance providers to improve their pre-authorization process. So
Okay.
that's a major benefit.
Yeah,
And
that's a huge change because that's usually one of the uh, downsides of a Medicare Advantage
mhm,
is the pre-authorization, and that can take sometimes referrals and pre-authorizations. They can take months, and
yes,
then the pre-authorization, the rejection rate is so high. So it's good to see that they're going back to really look at that, to look at everything all over again, because so many people coming into these plans, um, and that's why we're doing these types of segments, because things are changing, and that population, every like I say, every day, um, 11,000 age into Medicare
mhm,
every day, and that has increased over 10% in the last few years. So it could be 2030, it could be 15,000, something like that. So these plans are ever evolving and responding and everything, and that has been one of the major complaints that it takes so long for especially a referral. You
Hmm.
know, that could be like 90 days to 6 months. For something for something to happen, and I'm like, wow, um, that needs to be, that needs to be sped up, especially with some people that have like illnesses, especially with the senior
Yes.
population.
Yes. So one of the things that I was really happy to see is people are sharing the feedback. So
Yep.
you've got the doctors, you've got the beneficiaries, you've got these different types of specialists, and they're doing research and surveys to understand where some things that are going well, where are some issues, and then using this information to continue to improve the process.
Hmm.
Now, we're not saying that Medicare is going to, be fixed overnight, but it's good that it's responding,
Right. Nothing's going to be
finally
fixed, right?
responding
But
some of the
exactly,
changes.
exactly. At least they are uh, responding and
Hmm.
making the changes. That's the good thing about CMS, especially when it comes to Medicare. Uh, when they make the change or respond, it's quick. They do. It's just getting there is what takes the time.
Yes.
You have to go through it, and just so happen it's just the population, the segment of the population that's feeling the brunt of this is a group that's not 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 a patient. They're not that
No,
patient.
no, they are not
Yes,
very
I
patient.
love the stories. I mean, it's funny to me. I mean, I like it. I like hearing it, and everything when they go on their rants. Those are some beautiful rants.
Well, I believe we all can relate. We
Oh
all
yes, I
can
can
relate
definitely
to
relate to it.
frustrations.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, but with the changes, it benefits. It's going to be a big win for the doctors and the beneficiaries.
yes,
So
yes.
everyone will benefit from it. The doctors, they won't have to hear as much because they're the ones that really catch it.
Hmm.
Uh, we're talking to these doctors, primary care physicians, specialists, and
Yes.
everyone. They're like, I hate whenever I have to say when we look into the appointment thing to make the referral and say, oh my goodness, this is 100 days out. And they was like, I really don't want to say it, but I have to.
Hmm.
Okay, this is going to be, today is it's August. You won't be able to see that specialist till November. November, I could be dead by, and then it triggers the rants. So,
Well, what I would say is there's two parts to it. So remember, I said the overall
mm-hmm.
uh, pre-authorization process that's been reviewed. There's more recommendations and requirements,
Excuse
and
me.
one of the ones that's improving the most is for the non-emergency
Mm-hmm.
type
Okay.
of visits. Those, because they're non-emergency, they seem to feel like the longest time period,
Yes.
and because it's non-emergency, some are non-surgical.
Right.
um, Alternative therapy
Mm-hmm.
and recommendations are often what is suggested. So, with the process being revamped and shortened, it's not a guarantee that all from beginning to end will take, you know, 48 hours, but 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
is what they're recommending. And sometimes it does extend if there's appeals and things like that.
Right. Okay. So now we know that those are some good changes.
Hmm.
Any more?
Yes. So, privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Privacy is something that is important to everyone. And so, whether it is getting mailers in the mail, getting phone calls, getting emails, um, everyone feels it. Our seniors have been really asking a lot of questions and making sure that when they're giving out their information, they want to make sure that they're not unprotected. So
Right. That's right.
there's stricter, more tougher privacy protection for beneficiaries, so their information is not leaked or sold. So even down to the basic of, do you even have a type of plan? they're
Mm-hmm.
they're making those type of restrictions, is just making sure they're protecting them overall.
Oh yes, most definitely. One of the big changes I remember is the when they took the Social Security number off the Medicare card, changed that number. Um, it wasn't like well accepted in the beginning, but then once it was explained, this is another way of keeping your identity from being stolen and people take scamming you and everything. And so it was accepted. It took a second, and now it's like it's fine. And so these new protective uh, um, benefits are to just add another layer, because there's
Mhm.
just so many people just going after trying to scam the seniors. I mean, these uh, um,
The different
these
hackers
stories.
and
Yes, the
the
hackers, they're hacking
scams.
into the right. They're hacking in technology wise and everything. So they're just constantly trying to stay in front of anything before like anything major happens, like a big data breach or something like that. They're trying to stay in front of it. So which is definitely a benefit. I know I've known for a minute there, he was having to remind them, hey, you need to put your old
Red,
Medicare
white, and
card
blue
up. Yeah,
card.
put the old red, white, and blue card up, because that has your Social Security number on it, and it's no longer beneficial for you. So just put it up or whatever. You can even shred it. You can do whatever. You get rid of it, but you don't want that to fall into someone else's hands. And some of them, it didn't click that, yeah, that's my Social Security number, so that number is still valid.
Hmm.
It's just not valid with Medicare over here on Medicare on my card any longer, but it's still in the system. And so that had to be
A lot
stressed
of
over and
training.
over again. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just like anything, it was,
Reminders.
yeah, had to just do those reminders.
Hmm.
So was that all of the points that you wanted to touch on, the updates for this program?
Absolutely. So just keep in mind, we're going to continue to share, some key things, but just some different emails and questions and even client meetings. Just really, I felt it was important
Yeah.
that
Oh
we
yeah.
brought
Most
those
definitely.
up.
Most definitely. Everyone needs to know it. So, all right. Well, that was some good information. So before we close out, we'll go back up here to the summer part, because the what Labor Day, the first is, we're almost at the end of summer.
Hmm.
You know, on the calendar is saying that summer is over. And all of this meteorological summer and everything. Okay,
Hmm.
94 degrees outside. It's still summer, but for these purposes here on the show, the summer season is over. So
This
the
weekend
yes,
wraps it up.
this weekend wraps it up. From what Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Hmm.
That's the summer season.
Hmm.
So it's wrapping up. This is the last one. So my question of the day, to everyone is, um, did you survive your summer budget?
Ah, that's a good question.
Yeah, did you survive your summer budget?
That's a really good
Yeah,
question.
hopefully we did. We did survive it, uh, and we hope that all others survived it. And if you didn't, what can you do to be prepared for the next summer?
Hmm.
So go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say, it reminds me of a wallet win a few weeks ago. Someone actually came in under budget on one of their vacations. So there's some people who more than survived. They
Hmm.
actually ended up spending less money,
Yeah.
and some break even.
Yep. The
So,
quote. The quote. A great philosopher, great high school philosopher under our roof. They're not only surviving, they're thriving. So, and that's a good thing, to be financially thriving. All
mhm.
right. So we're going to close it out. We hope. Thank you for the information. Be back next Friday for more Medicare information. And for those out there, if you enjoyed the show, if you appreciated the information, share it, subscribe to the channel. Um, Facebook. If you have any questions, you may be ready for the financial checkup. This would be a good time going into a new season, new time. Be a good time to get everything, the finances in order before we go into the serious stretch, which is we have Halloween, we have Thanksgiving, and we have Christmas. So we have the three major ones coming up, the big 3 that will be up upon us pretty soon here. So if you want to contact us with any questions or information that you need. Don't hesitate to call us. And so I want to thank you again, Andrea, for being on with me. And until next week, have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. Yeah, Labor Day.
Yes.
Summer is flying.
Yes,
I was
it
saying,
is.
it seemed like I was just saying Memorial Day, Labor Day weekend. So we'll talk.